without trust, the relationship will fail. But you have people out there who say trust is earned, not given. And unfortunately, that doesn't really work well within the dynamic of a relationship, at least not starting off, because the reality is that without giving a level of trust, how can we build on a strong foundation to even see if we can come together and have a successful relationship? But I get it. That's hard. It's not easy to come in just trusting people. It's not easy coming in just being vulnerable. The reality is that it is necessary. You've got to do it, but I'm going to help you with understanding what steps you can take on building that trust. Because again, without it, you won't see success in a relationship. So let's get right to it and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more. Number one, talk about everything. So listen, again, we've got to come in with a level of giving trust, right? But in order for us to build, grow, strengthen that trust so that we can work well together and have a healthy relationship, we've got to be willing to talk to each other. We've got to be willing to lay all kinds of things on the table. I see so many people trying to establish or trying to maintain a relationship with poor communication, with an unwillingness to discuss a variety of things, whether it be your dreams, your concerns, what you're going through that day, whatever the case may be. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, I can't talk to this person. It's difficult talking to them. They're not willing to listen, or they take things the wrong way, or they throw things back in my face. Now, listen, if that's the case, then why are you with them? The reality is that you're not making things better by removing the dynamic or removing the necessity to talk to each other in order to try to tolerate this relationship. If anything, the fact that you can't talk to them is your clear red flag. You are in the wrong relationship, or you are with someone who is not ready or able to be in a healthy relationship with you. So that should not be a reason to run from that. You should not say, well, since it's not working, I'll just stop trying, but still give myself to them, still date them, still be in a relationship with them, still provide for them, still love them, still support them. No, I'm sorry. Because communication is such an essential thing that we cannot overlook that. So you've got to come to the table and be willing to put things out. And the great thing is, by doing that, you get to see a lot faster, is this someone you can have a relationship with? Because again, the relationships that flourish have great communication. The relationships that crash and burn tend to have horrible communication. That is a consistent common denominator that you're going to find in relationships, good or bad. So be willing to talk about everything, but let's address a little bit more this concern of people throwing things back in your face. Because I've heard it from men, I've heard it from women, and the reality is this. Yes, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who wrongly, and to be quite frank, immaturely, if that's the right way to say that word, all right, they end up using things against you, all right? And because of this, people, again, become very fearful of opening up, being vulnerable, being very transparent. But you got to understand that if you can't work through that issue with them, number one, again, by talking, you get to expose if they're that kind of person to begin with. We can't see if they're going to do those types of things if we don't give them a level of ammunition. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, why the hell am I going to give them the ammunition to throw something back in my face? Listen, you got to own your life. And when I say own your life, own who you are, own what you've been through, own your secrets, own the things about you, so that even if someone wants to quote unquote throw it in your face, and what? Now I got to see that you're not worthy of being with me in this relationship, and I keep it moving. And it shouldn't even hurt us. And the only reason why it hurts us is because we have unresolved issues that are attached to the things that we have exposed about ourselves. All right? We have not come to peace about it. So that's a clear sign for you that you have some work to do. But let's keep this moving. So again, you're going to get to expose them. You cannot let that be a fear of yours. And also you have to understand this. If if you're not willing to be transparent, a lack of transparency, or more, even a better way to say it, secrecy, because by not expressing ourselves, by not being open, by not being transparent, we create an environment of secrecy, of being overly private to an extent to where now it can create or plant the seed of insecurity in the relationship with our partner. Because if we're not being open with them, or consider a situation where they're not being open with you and transparent with you, how does that make you feel? So a lack of transparency is going to breed insecurity. It's going to create chaos. It's going to cause problems. But when we are open, when we are transparent, when we are forthcoming, we create more peace. We create more harmony. Again, with the right person. The wrong person will probably mishandle that. But we'll get to see it and we move on. But the right person will embrace it, respect it, cherish it, and pour more into it. So you want to build trust, you've got to be willing to talk about everything. The second step to building trust in a relationship is bonding on a deeper level. So we have talking and being transparent, and that definitely plays into bonding on a deeper level. But sometimes we got to go even deeper. And I just feel like some of y'all just are nervous just even hearing that, all right? Because so many of you struggle with truly being vulnerable. I remember one time I was speaking to someone who was married, and they had been married at this point maybe 7, 8 years. And I remember saying to the wife, I said, listen, I believe you love your husband, but the reality is that you have yet to give him your whole heart. And she looked at me shocked, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm married to the man. Of course I gave him my whole heart. No, that's not true. Many people are in relationships kind of one foot in the door, one foot out. Or they kind of have a piece of their heart on the table, but not their entire heart on the table. All right. And so how that connects to the main point here of bonding on a deeper level. When we hold back, when we restrict ourselves in different ways, when we don't, again, fully open ourselves to our partner, and not just in communication, but in being our true selves, because that's a huge problem for a lot of people where you're in a relationship or you're dating and you're not fully being you. And by not being you, how can you bond on a deeper level? How can we see if we have a genuine connection here? We've got to be willing to do that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you because it just hit my spirit. It is even possible for two people who are not fully exposing themselves to feel and recognize a connection is there. Because that's how strong a connection is. It can pierce through all the walls. It can see through all the facades. And sometimes, yes, you can see it, but you're not going to be able to nurture it and truly have a successful relationship without fully embracing letting go and becoming emotionally naked. And that's what bonding on a deeper level is really about. It's becoming emotionally naked. It's also about spending quality time. And I stress the word quality time. Too many people are with each other because they have distractions that help them tolerate each other. All right. They have work. They have kids. They just have other obligations, family, whatever it is that keeps them busy. And so now the time spent with each other isn't quality time diving into each other. It's more superficial. It's we go on a date, we have sex, we have some fun, but we're not really diving into who we are at the core. And so again, if we want to truly build trust, all right, we got to get to the core. We got to bond at that deeper level. And I'll say this, we have to essentially establish friendship in the relationship. Because without that really makes it hard for us to feel safe, feel comfortable, to love each other at every level of this relationship. So it's important that we establish a level of friendship as well. And I think I'm a firm believer that your partner should be your best friend. Not saying, not your only friend. All right, you can have other friends, okay, with boundaries. Let me just stress that. Other friends with boundaries in place. But I do believe your partner should be your best friend. There are people who disagree with that, but I would argue they're disagreeing with it out of the fear of, well, if I lose my partner, I lose my best friend too. I get that. But we can't play to lose. We got to play to win. All right. And if we're playing to win, yes, we need to establish friendship as well. And that will definitely help build greater trust in the relationship. Now we get to the third step to building trust in a relationship, and that's adding structure and understanding. Now, I would say this is extremely important if you're at a point where you're trying to rebuild trust, where there has been a violation somewhere in this relationship and now we're trying to get back on track. It's extremely important to add structure at that point. But before we even get to that point, and hopefully we don't ever get to that point, by adding structure and understanding early, we can now set ourselves on the right track. So what do I mean by adding structure and understanding? So number one, let's start with understanding, all right? We need to understand each other, how we operate, how our relationships are with other individuals. And what I mean by that is sometimes a lack of trust is created because, let's say you have a partner and they do have a friend, since we just talked about friends, right? And you don't understand that relationship. You don't understand their history. You don't understand anything about it. And in reality, let's say in this example, it is truly, genuinely a harmless relationship. There's nothing going on between these two people. There will never be anything going on between these two people. But your lack of understanding of their dynamic, what's going on there, opens the door for distrust to now creep in and accusations to possibly rise to the surface, and now everything blowing up, all right? So we've got to understand each other on various levels so that, again, we don't allow assumptions to creep in. Because that's what happens. When we don't know and when we don't understand, we assume. We come to our own conclusions. We make our own analyzation. And what you're analyzing and the conclusion you come to may sound good, all right? It may sound like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. They got to be doing this. But nah, you're wrong. You're actually dead wrong. And what you're projecting on them may be due to what you've been through in the past, maybe because you got counsel from a friend, family member, whoever, who poured negative thoughts into you to make you look at this in an unnecessary negative way. And I'm sure we've all seen this happen a lot of times, or many of you have seen this happen. So again, it's important that we gain an understanding of each other, how we operate, and understand what we deem inappropriate, all right? Because a lot of people are operating with the mentality of you should know what inappropriate is. You should know you can't be behaving like this. You should know this is unacceptable. And granted, there might be certain things like cheating. I think we all know cheating is unacceptable and inappropriate, right? But then there are layers that start before that some people may not deem inappropriate that you will, all right? Some people may not think, I know this may sound like an extreme example, but I know some situations where a woman found it inappropriate for her man to be telling random women hello in the street. And when I say hello, I'm talking just walking by, hey, how you doing? Good day. Like nothing, no intent to act upon this and try to, connect with the woman, but she found that to be inappropriate. He's like, yo, I'm just being friendly. It's not a big deal. But again, because they lacked an understanding of what is considered inappropriate and then come to an agreement on what is acceptable and not acceptable in their relationship, this creates problems. So if we want to build trust, we have to make sure we kind of discuss these things in advance. And we lay out, again, the understanding of what's acceptable, what's not, how we operate, understand each other's relationships, understand how we see things, because that will help us have more comfort, more peace, more trust. Now, in regards to structure, I think that the structure is simply about, again, and this is going to vary from couple to couple, all right? But you got to be honest about what you need to feel at peace and safe and be able to trust your partner more. So for some people, if that's making sure we check in with each other every so often, all right, so be it. If for some people that's posting on social media, I didn't really want to say it, but like for some people, that's a thing, all right? Talk about it. We got, and listen, I'm not here to say whether you should want that or not. I'm simply saying you got to be honest about what's important to you, what's going to help you feel safe. And at the very least, if by having a discussion, even if we come to the realization that it really isn't necessary, we need to do that together. We've got to come to that agreement together if we're going to have harmony and peace moving forward, all right? I also believe in structure as in having relationship checkups, knowing that we're going to have a set time, whether it be once a month, once every few months, once a year, whatever you decide. That's going to be an opportunity for us to get things on the table. So it opens the door more to bonding on a deeper level, talking about everything, discussing what's inappropriate, what may have bothered us. All of these things, again, help create a level of comfort, peace, harmony, trust in the relationship. So implement those things. But then I will say this also, going back to if we're at that point of rebuilding the trust, structure may be things like how we agree on phone transparency. Okay, like what everybody has different views, but at the end of the day, y'all have to be on the same page about it. What is acceptable? Do we need to have each other's passwords? Do we need to have access to each other's social media? Again, I'm not telling you in this video what you should or should not do in that regard. What I am saying is you've got to have an agreement in place and an understanding of how we're going to do this so that we can embrace trusting each other at our deepest levels, all right? So have those conversations and don't be afraid to be honest about what you think needs to happen, all right? But be open to understanding their side, and they have to be open to understanding your side, and hopefully you guys can come to a mutually beneficial agreement that you both can walk away happy from. All right, so now let's get to step number 4, and this is going to be a quick one. And step number 4 is understanding it's not about time, all right? And so what I mean by that is a lot of people think, well, over time we can learn to trust each other, we can build this trust. And essentially, they lean on time rather than the actual work. And the work is some of the things that I already mentioned on this list and some of the things I'm going to mention going forward. You can't overlook that. You can't assume that in time it's just going to work itself out. That's not what happens. Again, when people overlook these steps that I mentioned, they set the stage for a lack of trust to creep in. Because listen, we are all human. We've all seen some shady stuff, whether we felt it directly or we've seen other people go through it. We've all experienced, again, whether directly or indirectly, this level of trauma that comes from people doing shady things. So it's very natural as human beings, especially when we're very emotionally invested, in dating this person or in a relationship, that we're going to have some fears try to creep in. We're going to have that doubt try to creep in. And if we don't take the necessary precautions, those things can run wild, wreak havoc, and destroy the entire relationship. So it's important that we do not overlook the need to put in the actual work and that we do not lean on time. And I also want to make this point when it comes to time, because it's the same way that people say, well, time heals all wounds. No, the hell it doesn't. I'm sorry to tell you, no, it does not. There are people who go to their grave holding on to their wounds, never healing, never resolving anything. All right. Time did not save them. Only the work will. So you've got to be willing to take those steps. And I'm going to get a little bit more into that aspect of healing and addressing those past issues. But understand that it starts with you being willing to take those next steps. So let me just say it real quick. Get my book, Love After Heartbreak. It gives you all the exact steps to healing. It is what I gave my clients for all these years that has helped so many people finally release the pain, the hurt, the disappointment, not just from relationships, romantic ones, parents, siblings, friends, anything you've been through. So be sure to click the link in the description or in the comment section. Please get your copy. It is like having coaching sessions in the palm of your hand, but at an extremely affordable price that's going to make it, and it's going to be at your pace. But it's a pace that I need you to keep up with and to actually walk through the whole process. So Love After Heartbreak, or you can go to loveafterheartbreak.com. So now let's talk about number 5, the 5th step on this list of building trust in a relationship, or how to build trust in a relationship, is you got to give them the opportunity to earn that trust. So now this goes back to when I said there is a yes and no to the whole trust is earned, not given. I do believe we have to give a level of trust if we want to have any hope of seeing this relationship work out. But yes, there is a level of the trust being earned as we build more and more and strengthen that trust with each other. But for them to earn it, you gotta give them the opportunity. And so what I've seen with so many people, and what's hitting me right now, things are always hitting my spirit. What's hitting me right now is this is a very important principle that applies not just in your relationships, in work, in family, in various environments. We have a tendency, and I say we because I'm going to include myself right now, all right? We have a tendency at times to where, let's say, for example, we want something to get done. And we ask our partner, our work associate, our employee, whatever, to handle this, all right? And because we either don't trust them or we have a fear of it not getting done correctly, or the moment we see anything that is contrary to how we want it to be done, we jump in and put our hands all over it, all right? And now we think we're solving the issue, but all we're doing is making things worse because we're not giving them the opportunity to earn our trust. We're not giving them the opportunity to learn properly how we want things done, and it's sometimes not even about how we want it done, because we have to be flexible in understanding we're not all going to do it the same way. It's about, is it getting done in a way that produces proper results? That's what the focus needs to be on. And there's, what do they say? There's more than one way to skin a cat. I think that's the right thing. Yes. Okay. So, we got to be flexible in that manner. But again, we have to stop ourselves from jumping in and putting our hands on it. And so how this also applies to trust in the romantic sense is there's a lot of times where because of our fears, because of our concerns, we cut the opportunity off before it's truly given. All right. We don't give, I hate using this word, but I have to use this word. We don't give a long enough leash. All right. Not that our partner are dogs or pets. Okay. But, metaphorically speaking, I guess you got to give some leeway. You got to give them a chance. You got to see, okay, can they be trusted with this opportunity, with me taking a step back and seeing how they handle it, all right? So in building trust, you really got to be conscious of giving them a chance to earn it, letting them show you they can respect and honor your trust. And the same way I would tell them to do for you, because again, building trust is a two-way thing. It ain't just about you giving them opportunity. They got to give you opportunities. You guys got to talk about these things. And you guys have to really learn to lean on each other. All right. And again, we can't lean on each other if we're doing everything ourselves. And this is why, let me just throw this in before I move to the next point. This is why being too independent kills relationships. This is one of the reasons why. And I want to stress right now, when I say too independent, I'm not just talking about women. When a man or a woman is too independent in a relationship, they will choke the life out of that relationship. We have to embrace interdependence, and interdependence requires leaning on each other, trusting each other, and of course, giving each other the opportunity to build on those things and nurture the relationship. All right, so now let's keep it moving. Let's get to the sixth step on how to build trust in a relationship is you got to be willing to try. I know that sounds kind of really simple and maybe even silly, but it's just important for you to understand. And this is, again, a quick point. You can't come into this afraid to try to build the trust. And I say that in the sense that it goes back to the point I just made, where because of our fears and concerns, we don't even allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We don't allow our partners to have the opportunity to earn the trust or to strengthen the trust. We are unwilling to put ourselves out there, and so we will not see the relationship move in the right direction. We will essentially sabotage our own relationships. And so it's important that you gotta have the mindset of, okay, it's not that trying means that person won't fail. it does not mean that trying is going to turn it into you not getting hurt. It is inevitable, it is very possible, all right? And you know what? No, I'm going to say it. It is pretty much inevitable that at some point in a relationship, your partner's going to hurt you. That's reality. You can't sit down with any couple that's been with each other for several years, many years, whatever, and not have at least an example of where one hurt the other. It may not have been with malicious intent. It could have been without them understanding how this would hurt the person. But typically, you're going to have a moment that comes. We cannot allow that to stop us from being willing to try and be vulnerable. We have to learn how to take the punch and work through it. Learn how to not internalize it. Learn how to heal while in a relationship. All right? Because that's going to happen sometimes. Okay? We're going to have to sometimes bounce back from things that we did wrong to each other, things that we mishandled with each other. That's going to happen. But the point is, we can work through it if we embrace some of these other things on the list, being transparent, talking about everything, having structure, so on and so forth. But again, it all starts with you got to be willing to try. And if you at least have that and you understand that trying just means I'm giving myself a chance to succeed. It doesn't mean I will or we will. It means we have a great chance, or at least a chance, to make it happen. Because without truly trying, there's no chance in hell it will succeed. And now we are at number 7, but you know me, I got 2 bonuses I got to throw in there after this number 7, all right? Now, number 7, key to building trust in a relationship. And this is it's going to sound weird, but I'll explain it. 7 is trusting your intuition, all right? And so now let me make something clear. I do believe that women have very strong intuition, and it is one of their strengths. But I still believe that men have intuition too. I just don't feel like we're as naturally in tune, so to speak, but we can cultivate it just as they can. And if you struggle to embrace that, look at it as we all can get better in tune with our spirit. Because I do believe that the intuition is the spirit speaking to us. And so when we learn to tap into that, embrace that, understand it, not run from it, we can see the benefit of it and we can navigate through things a lot better. And the reason why that's so important is because, again, sometimes the struggle with trusting each other is because what we see scares us. What we heard scares us. But if we would learn to listen to our spirit, we may see that, or we may understand we can push past this. We may understand that this isn't what we think it is. Everything isn't what it seems sometimes. And again, this may sound weird, but just understand that, sometimes the ears and the eyes can deceive us, but the spirit knows the truth. And so when we understand that, we can better handle situations. We can better navigate through the pitfalls or through the obstacles that may come our way. And again, it helps us because it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of having to trust the person and more about trusting what's going on within ourselves. Because again, everyone's capable of being shady at any moment. Capable. I'm not saying y'all are shady, all right? Not saying all of you will be shady, but everyone's capable. And so sometimes we've got to be more willing to trust what our spirit is. Not even sometimes, all the time. We got to listen to our spirit more than when we're listening to, again, what we see or what we hear. And so this kind of pours right into the first bonus, because there's 2, is trusting God, not the person. Now, what I mean by that is it's not that we don't trust the person at all, because again, there's a level of trust that is required in the relationship for it to succeed. However, when we put more trust in God, again, we take the pressure off the individual and we understand the fact that they are human. They're going to make mistakes. Mistakes does not mean they are not a trustworthy person. It means they are a human person who is flawed like the rest of us. We are all flawed. We will all have a moment of making a bad judgment, making a bad decision. That does not define who you are, so it should not define who they are. Now, granted, there's a difference between a bad decision, a bad moment, and someone who's just bad for you. Someone who is consistently operating in the negative or a toxic, unhealthy relationship. I don't want you to tolerate and deal with that, but I do want you to learn not to allow that one mistake to make you forget about all the good that this person brings. or that one mistake to make you forget that this is where God wants you to be. And that's the point here. It's about understanding, where does God want you? What does God want you to do in a certain situation? How does God want you to proceed? That is going to help the relationship truly overcome what can be thrown its way, especially when we're talking about, and that's what I'm praying for all of y'all, is two people who are supposed to be together. Because this is not to be applied for in a relationship that you don't belong in. I'm trying to get y'all out of those relationships, to be honest with you, okay? And so let me just say real quick. I remember one time somebody said, oh, you breaking up more relationships than putting together. I said, good, because a lot of them need to be broken up. I take no shame in that. I'm not here to keep you in a relationship. I am here to help you get into the right relationship, a healthy relationship where both you and your partner can flourish. And so, yes, for some of y'all, that means getting out of the situation that you're in. But we're going to leave that for a different video. The point here is you got to learn to trust God and let him guide you in your relationships. And then last but not least, again, the second bonus, heal from your past. We'll try to make this super quick. The bottom line is this. You could do all these things we talked about. You could be dealing with a great partner who is truly trying to love you, cherish, and respect you. But if you have not healed from your past, you will still struggle with embracing the love they're trying to pour into you. You will still struggle with trust, because you will find yourselves projecting onto this relationship. You will find yourself easily triggered. There'll be moments where they didn't even do anything shady. But because you're so on edge and so used to things going wrong, or at least that's what you have believed or allowed yourself to believe, you're going to be looking for something wrong to happen. And if you don't see something wrong, you're going to create something wrong. Subconsciously a lot of times, all right? If not all the time. So the bottom line is, a lack of healing just creates a messy foundation that you can't build anything strong on. So you've got to make sure you and your partner, and if you're already in the relationship, hey, it's not too late. Both of you can take the time, get the Love After Heartbreak book, go to a counselor, go to a coach, a therapist, go to somebody, get the help you need. That's a good thing. Get you both to a healthy place emotionally, heal, and that will help you to truly embrace the love, the trust, the peace, the harmony, everything that you deserve and need for a successful relationship. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. I pray you receive the man who wants to love you, not just use you. And the reality is that there is a man out there for you. There is a man who wants to cherish you, honor you, and is going to fall deeply in love with you.